Welcome, everybody, to the Redzone Report brought to you by PLB Sports and Entertainment, the makers of Josh's Jacks, the JA17 line of coffee, and the Stefan Diggs 14 line of hot sauce. Please enjoy the show. Welcome right to the Redzone Report brought to you by PLB Sports and Entertainment, the makers of Josh's Jacks, the Diggs 14 line of hot sauces, and the JA17 line of coffees. Welcome to the show, brought to you right here on Built in Buffalo, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, whatever you're watching on. Welcome to the show. And I am joined today, as usual, by my co-host, Rich Akeem Richards. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great now, man. Hey, Rich, Akeem Richards, Built in Buffalo. If you don't know us by now, please get to know us. I am ecstatic now that we've gotten a win. We're on the win column, and we did it against a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. Great W.
Oh, yeah. Look, like in the comments, a win is a win, is a win, is a win, is a win. Let's go. It was an ugly one, but you know what? We played the Super Bowl champs. It is what it is. You know, we had our moments. They had their moments. And I'm just glad that we came out on top of this one. It could have gone the other way, and it went our way. For once, we got one of these ones where it was just a dirty, ugly, messy game to go in our favor. And we haven't got one of those since the Giants game. And that one shouldn't even been like that anyway. So,
well, we did enough, to win the game, and it came to full circle, and it was a team effort, and it started in the beginning of the game where Josh Allen was hot. He ended 23 of 42, 233 yards, one touchdown, one interception, 10 attempts, 32 yards, and a touchdown. But in the beginning of the game, he was on his hot streak, and he was hitting his spots, and he was especially hitting James Cook out the backfield. I think they're definitely developing a connection between James Cook and Josh Allen, and we have to congratulate Joe Brady on, in that retrospect, getting James Cook out there in space. And in order for him to be that mismatch nightmare, we look at James Cook as a splitting image of Alvin Kamara. So why not play him in that role? So it was good to see Joe Brady put him in that role and utilize him in that way today. And then when you had Josh Allen being able to use his legs early, I believe both of those things he was able to do really rattled the Kansas City Chiefs early, and we was able to get to that lead. And late in the game, the Buffalo Bills defense came to life and won the game. A big stop for the Buffalo Bills defense to win the game. And how many times have we been able to say that this season? Not many. So it was a full circle moment and a great team victory for the Buffalo Bills.
and did you see that? Was that a Von Miller sighting? I think we had a Von Miller sighting. He was getting there. He didn't get the sacks, but he did get Mahomes to have to throw that ball out there way sooner than he wanted to. And you know what? That's fine. He's getting home finally, and that I'm happy to see. And then Ed Oliver, game wrecker, is beautiful. I'm seeing some comments over here complaining about the refs. I don't want to hear anything about the refs, right? I don't want to hear nothing about the refs. The refs suck. Everybody knows the refs suck, and it is what it is. So it is what it is.
Yeah. It's the refs are who they are now. And everybody has a complaint throughout the entire league. All 32 fan bases could complain and talk about how bad the refs are. So at this point, we're just happy to get the victory. Was there calls left out there that we didn't get? Yes, obviously, I think there was. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain too much about the refs in victory, right? I'm gonna savor the moment. Of course, there was things we could have back, but the ultimate goal was to win the game. And the Buffalo Bills all season has come on the opposite side of the spectrum in these close game situations. So to come out to in victorious is, I think, is a key moment and pivotal moment in the Buffalo Bills season.
Absolutely, yeah. And the guy in the comments is a Dolphins fan, so it's all good. complain, buddy. It's okay. You're here with us, and you're welcome to be here with us. Yeah, look, I'm not going to complain about the refs. We all know they suck. So that's that. There was some blatant calls, like you said, that were missed. They called Deion Dawkins for the same exact thing that they didn't call Travis Kelce for. So what? So what? Like, got to move on. Got to play the game. The game came down to more than just a couple of missed penalties, right? Both teams played 60 minutes of football, and the team that screwed up more lost. So that's what it is.
Yeah, and the Buffalo Bills, we gotta, check injury reports, of course, but the Buffalo Bills didn't get the pressure or didn't get the sack numbers I probably wanted or I expected them to, being that they had a third round picks making his first ever start. But they was able to capitalize in the turnover department early in the game with the tip play. Just a great individual effort. How much great individual efforts we've seen this season from an AJ Epinesa, and he's gone from a guy that I looked at as he's possibly gone. I'm not even thinking about re-signing him, to now I'm like, okay, AJ Epinesa is a free agent. We may have to do some things in terms of keeping him and retaining him as a Buffalo Bill, because he does make plays and he does make impact and splash plays. And he made another impact play today. And AJ Epinesa, Mario Addison said it a couple of years ago, right? He said, AJ Epinesa, he's ready, right? And we kind of blew it off, and he didn't have that season we thought he would have at the time Mario Addison said that. But this season, he's definitely coming along and showing that he can be that impact player, making impact plays surprisingly when need be. So definitely have to shout out AJ Epinesa and his play before he got hurt. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, me too. I hope he's okay. And same with Micah Hyde. I hope he's okay. The defense banged up. I'm just glad we didn't lose Dodson too, because he went down, for a minute. Him and
Taylor
Rapp hit each other. Yeah, they collided, and so dealing with the injuries, getting through them. The guys who are now starting are starting to get their stride, and I'm just happy to see the team playing like a team. And they went out there and they did what they had to do to get the victory. So I'm just happy for that.
Yeah, James Cook, 141 scrimmage yards, total scrimmage yards today for James Cook. I think he was explosive today. The receivers. Let's talk about the receivers a little bit, right?
It was a weird one.
It was a weird one. Diggs coming into this game, I spoke about it earlier in the tailgate with James Stokes. Coming into this game, Stephon Diggs, the last 3 games has averaged 4 receptions and 45 yards. So I felt that the Buffalo Bills had to do things to implement him early and often to make him an impact player. Another quiet night from Stephon Diggs, and just a quiet night in general from the wide receivers. What did you see there, Izzy? Did you see anything where it was strategic based on the defense, or was it just that type of game plan from Steve Spagnuolo where he had a couple of weeks where he could see Joe Brady's offense and he just did an excellent job in preparation? And we got to kind of tip the hat. Even in victory, we got to tip the hat where, the defensive play caller probably came prepared even in defeat.
Yeah. Look, the defensive play caller came through. Man. The thing with Diggs is this, right? He dropped a lot of passes today. He dropped a lot today. He was targeted 11 times. He caught 4 for 24 yards. To me, that's huge. I don't know if he just had an off night or if he didn't get rested enough. I'm having a bit of a brain fart here right now.
Nah, and that's fine
But
because
like,
Stephon Diggs, like Stephon Diggs, when he's I think he's a guy that he's that number one receiver for the Buffalo Bills. You have a new offensive coordinator in Joe Brady, and they're trying to learn each other as well. And I think Joe Brady is trying to get Stephon Diggs involved early with the screen pass, but I do think he is showing that screen pass a bit too much. And
yeah,
this is the NFL. This is I'm not even mad at certain drops that Stephon Diggs had because it was their third or fourth time showing that screen pass, and the defense was prepared for that. It became more predictable. As but so many times you can run the same play, and these advanced defenses and defensive coordinators are gonna catch on to it. So
hmm
as much as I liked it early, I think that we needed to do other things to try to get Stephon Diggs involved and not show a little predictability there. I know it's an extension of run and you want to get them involved, but when defenses see that, it can become predictable and easier to stop.
I agree. Yeah, we went to the well too many times on the screens. We're
Mhm.
not really a screen team. Like it's not something we do a ton of, and we did it a ton today. And we faltered when we did it later on, even though it worked early. You know, I think we also need to look at getting Ty Johnson, a few more touches too. He's been doing pretty good out the backfield. You there's a lot we can do, but I think it's nitpicking at this point. James Cook led us in receiving yards by a lot. The next guy was Dawson Knox with 36. James Cook had 83. Like the receivers and tight ends today were just not effective.
And I'm not even opposed to, you know, James Cook leading in receiving yards per se, right? That's not even the issue. It's just
Yeah, no.
we want to see other guys being able to step up and get involved as well. But now it's about Joe Brady, right? Because we've seen this. I've seen this before, and I'm this is exactly what I've spoken about, and I'm ready to see the evolution of Joe Brady. Now the defenses have seen you. You're on film and you're on tape, and I think defensively, I just think they came with a good game plan, and now we're to the point where okay, Joe Brady, you got some film on you. Teams are going to start making adjustments. Now, what are you going to do to combat that and get readjust to those adjustments and get back to flowing as a more offensively oiled machine like you've done the first 2 weeks as opposed to this week. So now we want to see how Joe Brady is going to combat what he needs to adjust to.
I mean, well, isn't that the trick to it, right? You get an offense and you get it rolling. Somebody kind of figures you out on tape, and now you have to go out there and change what they see on tape. And so that's going to be a big task for him coming up this coming week. We have the Cowboys. They have a solid defense. They're missing some pieces on defense too, but they still have two dominant pass rushers in DeMarcus Lawrence. They still have and number 11, spacing on his name.
Micah
You know,
Parsons.
Parsons. I don't know how I
Mhm,
forgot his name.
mhm,
Then you're looking at the cornerback, Stephon Gilmore, still having a good, solid season.
mhm,
Their safeties are solid. Like
mhm,
you're gonna have to do some changes because next week we have another team with a good defense coming into Buffalo.
mhm.
Granted, they're coming to Buffalo, so they're gonna be playing in our elements, but you can't go out there with this same mundane stuff that you've been doing now. Now you gotta change it up. And so, like you said, we're gonna see. I have faith in them, but me having faith has nothing to do with you delivering on the field.
And again, right? And again, it's more about the flow and consistency of the offense throughout the game. I believe the game started and it was in a good offensive flow. And it's like a boxing match. Once you throw some haymakers, teams or a boxer is going to make some adjustments. And that's what the Kansas City Chiefs did. They made the necessary adjustments and they got back in the game. And the Buffalo Bills is continuing to having to blossom and evolve within this offense while protecting themselves from themselves. Part of the reason the Kansas City Chiefs got back into the game is because of a mistake by Josh Allen throwing that interception. Yes, it was a good play by the defensive player, but it was another turnover and another momentum swinging play that got the team back into the game. And those type of things cannot happen for the Buffalo Bills if we're going to continue to try to ascend to beat these teams and win out and have a playoff run and get into the playoffs to begin with. So we played well, but we have to continue to clean up these mistakes on the offensive side of the ball. And I didn't like how the ending was either, right? Even though we got the field goal, I felt we should have got a lot more than a field goal. And it was just too many blunders and situations where it was like, okay, what is going on here? What is the identity here late in the game? Are we going to crumble again, or are we going to get it together in the nick of time? Thank God Josh Allen and his heroics on the play where he was backpedaling and hit Latavius Murray. Thank God for those type of heroics from our Superman quarterback. This is why the national media says the Buffalo Bills expect and need and want everything from Josh Allen, because he makes those type of plays. And us as Buffalo Bills fans, we get spoiled because we see those type of plays more often than not. And it was just another great play on the national level that the rest of the NFL got to watch and got to witness. And this is why we have so much faith in our team and in Josh Allen, because of things he can do like that. And as long as we can protect ourselves from ourselves, and our coaching staff can continue to put ourselves in our team in proper positions to make plays and win ball games, that is as much as we can ask for as fans and as the Buffalo Bills team. And tonight we have a lot of things that we have to clean up, right? But at least we're not talking about those things that we have to clean up in losing fashion. We was able to come out in a victory against an 8-4 team that was leading their division in their stadium on their home field. So that was an impressive victory. And if you're ready, we can shift to the defensive side of the ball if you want to talk defense a little bit.
No, not yet. Because you touched on a lot of things there. You know, Josh Allen, his heroics, right? Hits Latavius Murray. What does Latavius Murray do? He puts the ball on the ground.
He puts the ball on the ground.
He puts the ball on the ground. Then we get to like the 30 with like 2.5 minutes left. We pass the ball. Like, dude, if you're gonna kick a field goal, you don't want to leave them with 2 minutes left on the clock, and that's exactly what we did. Luckily, the defense showed up. If we want to switch the defense, we'll switch that in a second. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Drain the clock as much as you can. Granted, I know everybody has bad memories of 13 seconds, and if that's the case, and they run it down the field and kick our ass on that, then that'll be the way the conversation goes. I don't feel like this decision making was any better than that, because it could have led to a worse disaster, like that play where Travis Kelce throws it back to Tony. He takes it all the way down. Thank God Tony's an idiot, because then we would have had to have our offense go get a touchdown, which they hadn't done in a few drives. So there's a lot to clean up, like you said, and the defense was on point today. We held the Kansas City Chiefs offense to less than 20 points, and at times it didn't feel like we were gonna. So shout out to McDermott and the squad. Good job. And right here in the comments, it popped up right before I was going to say it. At least we didn't play prevent defense. No, we played the standard defense, went out there, didn't let them dink and dunk it up the field on us, and came through with the win. And, best part about it, I got to see Patrick Mahomes' tearing up face on the sideline at the end of the game. Let's go.
He was definitely angry. He was definitely frustrated at the end of the game. It was it was a sigh of relief for the Buffalo Bills fans. It was a sigh of relief for Coach McDermott, right? Because he's been through a lot of scrutiny. And when you have a bye week, it's like a bye week. It's great in retrospect, right? The players get to rest and they get to reset. And the Buffalo Bills, even in bye week, now have to go through scrutiny. What happens? Von Miller and his incident with his girlfriend, he gets arrested. Now that's a big topic, big story. Now all of a sudden, Tyler Dunn, he he had his report come out with Sean McDermott, and they have to go through he has to go through his scrutiny. And now reverting back to 9/11 comments. So it was just so much things that was revolving around this Buffalo Bills team during the bye week that could have been mentally exhausting. So how are you going to come now against the Kansas City Chiefs and a now rival that you've been facing for the last couple of years under this scrutiny on the football field and now off the football field? And the response going into that stadium and getting a victory, yes, again, there's things to clean up, but we have to be impressed by what we've seen there. And I don't care what the Kansas City Chiefs are going through, and Patrick Mahomes and his wide receivers and not having the great continuity, and they're struggling with drops. We have our own issues. We have our own injuries. We have our own struggles. Teams beat us because of our own issues and struggles. So for us to go out there and now be on the opposite side and be victorious once again, it's refreshing, and it keeps the spirit alive for the Buffalo Bills and us as fans.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, we both have our issues. The Bills have theirs, injuries, some coaching blunders, discipline issues with penalties and all that nonsense. And the Chiefs have a lot of the same issues. They were banged up today just like we are. They had penalties just like we did. Felt like, the refs called some stuff that wasn't necessary and they missed some things that weren't, but that's they suck, so we know it. The Bills came out on top because the Bills played a more complete game. That's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Mahomes, with his drop passes too. Look, Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs dropped their fair share of passes. I don't want to hear anything about drop passes. It was a thing on both sides where both quarterbacks were very accurate, and if both guys' weapons were on time with their catching attempts, it's a much more exciting offensive game. But it was a defensive struggle for the first time in a long time with these two teams. And so, like you said, I'm just happy to be here with a dub, moving to next week and trying to run this damn table so we can get to these playoffs. Because there's a lot of people out there who don't think that can happen, even though we've done it the last 3 years. 2020, we won 6 in a row to end the season. 2021, we won 4 in a row to end the season. Last year, we won 7 in a row to end the season. It's kind of what we do. It's kind of what we do. But, this year feels a little different, and you got to take it step by step. And that's just grown man stuff, man. It's just grown man stuff. You take it step by step. You follow the process. People are tired of hearing, trust the process. No, you follow the damn process. You write your freaking list, and you get through it the way you're supposed to get through it. And so this team really needs to buckle down, get on their discipline, mind their P's and Q's, do their 111th, as they've been saying, because they haven't been this year. And so now you go and you beat the Super Bowl champs. It's time to step it up and get better and better after that. Build on this. Get hot at the right time.
And you're absolutely right. And you talked about players having to do their 111. I believe the coaches are going to have to do their part as well. The coaches are going to have to continue to put these players in the positions to make plays and be successful on the defensive side of the ball. Holding the Kansas City Chiefs to 17 points is impressive. Holding them under 100 yards rushing is impressive. I like what I've seen from the Buffalo Bills defense. They only got 1 sack. I was probably expecting more pressure on Patrick Mahomes, but we was able to get a couple of turnovers and in key moments, in key situations of the game, momentum swinging turnovers. Even though we didn't even capitalize on the offensive side of the ball, we took them out of offensive momentum and offensive position to capitalize, right? So to have that opportunity was definitely big. How you feel Sean McDermott, number one, called the game on defense, and how you feel the players responded to Sean McDermott on the defensive side of the ball?
I think he did well. He had his moments, but again, we're playing the Chiefs. They're gonna have their counters to it. These two coaches know each other very, very well, and so because of that, I expected this to not be a shutout. Like I had people yelling, in group chats like, this is the typical thing. McDermott, this man. I'm like, dude, this the Chiefs. Like, we're not shutting them out. It's not going to happen. They're going to score. Now we just got to make sure that we score more. Obviously, my Booger McFarland moment in that chat, but it is what it is. Like, I think he called a good game. Like when they played the Dolphins, they put up more points than this. They put up points against Philly. They didn't really do it against us. We were able to hold them down, and I'm okay with his performance tonight. It wasn't perfect. Still needs a lot of work, but it's a work in progress.
Yeah, I like that. It was definitely a work. It's definitely a work in progress, but we like what we've seen. It was another situation, and this is where, as a fan in that situation, and maybe even as players in that situation in that moment, right? When you kick a field goal, you don't score a touchdown, and now it's up to the defense. Where now in the past this season, where the defense was put in these same situations and they didn't come out on top, it has to be a little nerve-wracking. And for the Buffalo Bills defense to step up on the road and respond. Ed Alva made plays at the end. Gregory Rousseau, I think they combined on a half a sack. They forced 4 straight incompletions late in the game under 2 minutes. So the Buffalo Bills defense, they didn't have any penalties. That's another thing, right? They didn't have any penalties to put them in harm's way. They played solid defense, 4 straight completions. They did a great job against the run, where usually the Buffalo Bills are susceptible against the run game. They had a little flash plays there, but in all, we bottled them up, and the defense was good for majority of the game. And when they did have their lapses, they had their lapses because of momentum swinging plays, and that's kind of part of football. So overall, when you look at the grand scheme of things, Sean McDermott, we have to give him his kudos. He went through a lot this week. It was a lot of pressure. You saw after the game, he did one of these like thank God, like it's over. We got this victory, So he was going through a lot, and I'm happy for him, man, because his character was tested there. It was a lot of things that in that article where you could agree or disagree with it. That's up to you. But there was a lot of things that went beyond football you can think about and contest his character as a man and talk about character flaws he had. So I know as a human being, we are human beings. We're looking at in the sport of things. But as a human being, you must go through a lot. And to have that victory and for the clock to hit 0 and to see that sigh of relief, I'm happy for Sean McDermott tonight. I'm happy he can sleep a little easier. And now we can go on and prepare for the Dallas Cowboys and make a run of this thing, man. Make a run of this thing.
Yeah. And you're 100% correct. A lot of, crazy stuff happened over this bye week. We haven't seen that before, with this team, having a bye week that was just wild. I don't think I've seen that really from many teams at all. And so, just glad that they got there. It seemed like it kind of galvanized the team. This team had 2 options. They could, fold or they could play. And they decided to play. They chose violence, and I'm glad they did. Because today this team looked together. Even though they made their mistakes, they were together. They only allowed, 82 rushing yards today? And the Chiefs usually are pretty good at running the ball against us. Mahomes had a kind of mundane day. 271, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Passer rating of 74.9. A little bit better than Josh's, but not really. Like 25 of 43, 23 of 42. Very similar days from these 2 quarterbacks. And I'm just glad that we were able to come on top.
And I'm sorry to cut you off. And this is why, like, when you're going under this scrutiny and when certain things was coming about and everybody had a lot to say, I remained quiet because I kind of like, number one, I never really cared, right? As much as everything's going on, I never really cared because we have to understand what's going on here. When you're going through expectations that you're not setting, scrutiny and tensions are going to rise. This is what happens in a production-based business when you're expected to produce and you're not producing. So everybody going on in a hoopla of the reports and what's happening, and I can't believe this, and I can't believe said this. Personally, I never really cared, because when you're winning games, the noise is going to silence a little bit. When you're losing games, those noises get louder. And this week, I guarantee you, the noise is going to be a little silent this week. It's going to be some chatter, but that victory is going to hush some voices this week. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. It's not about the reports or the articles or who said it and when they said it and why they said it. It's about wins and losses. And when you're winning games, things are going to quiet. When you're losing games, things like what's happening to the Buffalo Bills is going to happen.
I'm sorry, I got distracted there. We got some crazy comments going on. But I caught most of what you said there, and yeah, you're right. You know, it doesn't matter about the comments. It doesn't matter about this, that, and the third. And yeah, you're gonna see a lot more of these other fans being quiet when we tell them, "Hey, if we run this table, we're in the playoffs, and no one wants to deal with us. No one wants to deal with us. If you look at these teams in the playoffs, these division champions, the last team they want to see us week 1 of the playoffs is us. That's the last team they want. They'd rather see the Browns. They don't have a quarterback. They'd rather see the Steelers. They don't have a quarterback. They'd rather see the Colts. Gardner Minshew's solid, but he's not Josh Allen. The last guy you want across from you in the playoffs, if you're a division champion and you're not, having home field advantage, is Josh Allen. A pissed off Josh Allen.
And not only that, this is why we're not. It's not about, and I understand that people are looking at who wins, and did Cincinnati win today? Did Indianapolis, the Houston, who wins, who loses? If the Buffalo Bills do what they have to do, it doesn't matter who wins or who loses. It's going to play itself out. If they're still in position to control their destiny, and if they win out, they're going to make the playoffs. So it really doesn't matter what these other teams are doing right now. I think that's another thing. I think as fans, we're too invested in. We have to understand the situation. Right now, the Buffalo Bills win out, they're going to make the playoffs. If we lose games, now we lose more games. Now we have to start worrying about who's doing what and checking scoreboards because of those tiebreakers. But right now, the Buffalo Bills, they're in good position. I don't know if they're in that AFC East division good position, but they're in good position right now. We're taking it one game at a time, one play at a time. Dallas Cowboys next. Got to do what we have to do. That's going to be another tough matchup. I believe they're going up against the Philadelphia Eagles right now. I'm going to tune into that game. Yep. Right? That's another game. That's another game that's going to be a playoff game, playoff atmosphere, because the playoffs start for the Buffalo Bills right now. It doesn't start in January. It starts right now for us. We have to take that attitude. We have to take that mentality and go into every game like it's a playoff game. And Dallas is just another opponent on that schedule. And next week is another playoff game for the Buffalo Bills. And that's a must-win game for us. So
yeah, it is. And like you said, we handle our business. I can see it. I can see it coming if we handle all our business and win the rest of our games. And them Dolphins keep doing what they've been doing all year. And they lose to all the good teams. And they beat the bad ones, which is 2 weeks of bad teams and 3 weeks of good teams. And they lose to the Ravens, Cowboys, and Bills. We take the division. So I see you Fins fans in the comments talking all that mess. Talk. Walk that walk. It is what it is. We'll see you.
It's going to be another interesting week in terms of media headlines, because for whatever reason, I see a lot in media Dak Prescott and Josh Allen comparisons. They're not the same type of player. They don't have the same physical attributes, but they get compared. Those two polarizing quarterbacks get compared surprisingly more often than not. So to see them now go head to head, where in this type of year, we'll see what Dak Prescott does today, where a lot of people is looking at him as an MVP candidate, right?
And he should be right now. This year he's playing very well.
And definitely he should be. And I would argue, me personally would argue, if the Buffalo Bills can win out, right, and come back from the dead and win out. I believe Josh Allen would be in that category as well. So it's definitely a lot of headlines next week against the Dallas Cowboys. It's unfortunate that Trayvon Diggs isn't healthy, so we can have the brother on brother matchup, but it's still a big game nevertheless.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird being back in this spot again. 7-6, hoping we do the same thing we did in 2021. Where would that put us? With the Dolphins, a lot of the fans, including the one here, who's actually being quite polite. He could be talking a lot of junk right now, but he's being quite polite. Other than the Buffalo is trash thing, but he's supposed to. He's a Dolphins fan. Win is a win. We play the same teams, yeah, but we just beat a winning team, and y'all haven't yet. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, we got the Cowboys next. Seeing anybody get hurt like Trayvon Diggs did, wait, tear his ACL, right, or was it his Achilles? You're muted.
Yeah, I believe it was his ACL.
So he tore his ACL early in the season. That stuff's sad. I hate seeing that happen to guys. Especially guys who play at that level. We lost Tre'Davious White to the Achilles this year. He was playing at a very high level when we lost him, and so, man, just you deal with it. You move on. We lost Matt Milano too. Daquan Jones. They were all playing at all pro levels. It is what it is. It's week 15 next week, so every team's got somebody gone.
And that's exactly what it's about. This is NFL. It's a brutal sport. It's the war of nutrition right now. Guys getting banged up. We had guys get banged up today. Micah Hyde go down. We saw other injuries where people was able to get back in the game on both teams. So it's definitely a grueling sport. And right now it's about not only who you play, but when you play them, right? Who is available at the time that you play these teams. And I think that's leaving an impact as well. So next week is another week. It was a great victory. Sean McDermott, Joe Brady, and the staff, I think they still have to do a lot of things. I think there's still a lot of things to clean up with the coaching staff. Still some things that make you question, like, what's going on, offensively, and, certain decisions that was being made. I want to ask you a question. What was your thoughts with the first half decision with opposing to go for the 62-yard field goal and going for the Hail Mary? Was you okay with that? Because me personally, I feel like Tyler Bass, I know he's had his struggles, but
it was a winless game. Like, there was no wind.
I feel Tyler Bass had a shot to make that 62-yard field goal, and that is something that I wasn't pleased with. Show some confidence. It's telling by decisions you make. Decisions you make is the actions speaking louder than words. And me personally, now I don't know. Maybe they had a conversation and Tyler Bass was okay, or Tyler Bass said something. I don't know. But me personally, contract extension, Tyler Bass, he got that contract extension because we looked at him as one of the better field goal kickers in the game. I know he had some missed field goals. We just seen Jake Elliott a couple of weeks ago kick a 69-yard field goal.
59.
A 59-yard field goal.
69 is unheard of.
Yeah, 69. A 59-yard field goal, but still in those elements, in those type of elements is almost unheard of. I've never seen no stuff like that before. I seen it last week in those elements, a 59-yard field goal. So I would have definitely liked to see 62 yards attempt from Tyler Bass. How you felt about that?
I think he should have kicked the field goal. There's no wind out there. Harrison Butker was kicking him from the 50. Before the game started, Romo and Nance were talking about before at that moment they were saying before the game, Butker was out here at the 50 kicking field goals and making them. It's like Bass has just as much leg and can get it straight and true with no wind. Kick the field goal. Like, Josh has thrown 2 Hail Marys before that at the half, and both of them were intercepted. One of them was almost taken back on him. So stop doing that, please. It's like either punt it or just run it out, or not that. Just it hasn't worked. Stop it.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's a great win. Of course, great win and a story, but at the same time, we got to break down certain things, positive and negative. At the end of the day, we're going to take that victory. we're going to sleep a lot better at night knowing the Buffalo Bills proclaim victory. But we also have to talk about, dissect and break down certain things what went wrong as well, and certain things that the Buffalo Bills do have to clean up. And part of that is the coaching aspect of the game. Certain decisions being made by the coach can make a negative or positive impact on the game. So luckily, this wasn't one of those situations, but it's definitely something that could be debatable whether you go for a Hail Mary or a 62-yard field goal. Me having Tyler Bass would have went for that field goal.
Yeah. I see in the comments, just be happy. Look, I'm happy with the win. You know, just certain things that could have gone the other way that would have made the win feel a little more secure. You know, like not putting the ball in danger. So, yeah, I'm all for, you know, taking risks at the opportune times. And I feel in this game, we did that for the most part. We took our risks at the opportune times and we came out with a W because of it. But there's certain risks I think that were unnecessary like that. And happy we won. But man, oh man, if that would have got intercepted and taken all the way back, that could cost us the game. So I think that little instances like that, because it's a game where just one decision can cost you the game. You got to make better decisions than that. That's just where I stand on that, you know, particular spot. We all said that we need to get James Cook involved in this game. We did. He was a big piece of this game, and it paid dividends because we won the game. We won the game really on the backs of Josh Allen and James Cook. Let's be real about it. The defense did their thing. Offensively, it was James Cook and Josh Allen, and that's about it. Look at everybody else. The next best receiver was Dawson Knox with 34 yards. Something like that. Freaking Stephon Diggs with 24 yards. You look at the running game. Ty Johnson had a decent yards per carry average, but that's about it. James Cook, excellent day. Over 120 yards production and a touchdown. And he started the game off with 2 huge receptions of 25 yards plus each.
Yeah, and I think under the Joe Brady offense, the running back position is even more important. I don't think now you talked about the screen game that the Buffalo Bills was running, and it was a lot of different variations of the screen game the Buffalo Bills was trying to get off, and it's not something as fans we're accustomed to seeing. But me personally, I liked it.
Yeah,
I like the screen game. I would like to see other things besides the screen game. I don't want to just see the screen game or the short passing game throughout the entire course of the game. But I like it in terms of a mix in with the rest of the offense, having a guy like Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis and tight ends get the ball and seeing if we create those yards after catch opportunities. So I think the running back position is going to be a more focal point and more important piece for the Buffalo Bills offense going forward. And if the Buffalo Bills do keep and retain Joe Brady as the official offensive coordinator next year, I think that is something that they're going to look into, because I think James Cook is an excellent piece at the running back position who may get 1,000 yards running at this rate. I haven't checked the numbers, but I do think the Buffalo Bills can get other backs. I love Ty Johnson as well, but Buffalo Bills can get another back involved to help complement James Cook this offseason. But I really like what Joe Brady did in terms of implementing the screen game, because that's not something the Buffalo Bills have seen since Chan Gailey has been running the offense, right? So I just want to see him build on top of the screen game and not just showcase that as if that's the only thing he can do.
Yeah, I agree there. And, you know, with the James Cook right now should be just over 840 yards on the season when it comes to running. So with four more games, I think he should be able to break 1,000. If he all he needs is like 50 more yards per game, not even like 40 more yards per game, and he should have it roughly. So,
and I don't talk. Go ahead. I don't talk about the Tony mistake. Kansas City, the Buffalo Bills got lucky. I've been seeing some of that in the comments. Buffalo Bills lucky. James Kadarius Toney had that mistake. He was offsides, number one. right? And number two, it's about time the Buffalo Bills get something like that. We've been on the opposite end of that. We've had guys on too many guys on the field with field goals. So we made blunders like that at the end of the games, and because of that, we feel sorry for no one, right? So it's a good thing to see those type of things. You don't want the Buffalo Bills to give up those plays, but it's a good thing at least the Buffalo Bills are now the recipient of those type of plays now, right? And maybe and hopefully the tide is turning. Maybe the football gods is starting to look the other way, and maybe the Buffalo Bills can indeed get on this run. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. And so I'm seeing comments about, I feel dirty accepting this win. I don't. The refs bailed us out. No, they didn't, because they didn't call the penalty on Kelsey when he freaking grabbed, was it Terrell Bernard or Rasul Douglas? He just grabbed him by the front of the jersey and like slammed him on the ground. And then Deion Dawkins did the same thing, and they called him for it. Like the ref didn't bail anybody out. The refs suck. They just suck. Accept it. As soon as you accept that the refs suck, the sooner you'll just get over the fact that they even exist, right? They suck. You might as well be out there playing football with your boys and then just kind of use the honor system, because the refs are garbage. They're garbage. Just like when you're sitting there playing tackle football in your backyard with your boys when you're a kid, and you kind of like say that was a first down, and you take your freaking 10 steps to see. That's what it is. They might as well do that, because the refs suck. They suck. Get over it.
Yes,
Ed Oliver today. I see it in the comments. Ed Oliver.
Yeah, it's definitely something that the NFL has to look into this offseason with the refs. They definitely have to figure out how to get a better product out there on the field as an officiating staff, and they have to figure out how to call a better brand and more consistent brand of football. But that's not something that's going to happen this season. No. I don't even know if that's something that's going to happen in the offseason into next season, because the officiating has been going downhill for a number of years. It's just getting worse and worse and worse, and now it's getting to the point where it's like, okay, is other things underhand going on that you start to question? Is getting to that point with the officiating, and hopefully the NFL can find a way this offseason to scale that back and rectify the situation a little bit and hold refs more accountable and get back some consistency officiating in the game we love. Because fans, I know myself, I'm gonna continue to watch, but I know there's a lot of fans that get turned off because of the poor product that the NFL is providing as officiating crews.
It's sad when you got the minor leagues freaking doing better at that. It's sad when the XFL and USFL have better officiating. That's super sad. Like that bugs me. Like, you have two brand new leagues who have it right and you don't. In college, every play is reviewable by the referees or by the booth. Why is that not the case? Down by contact is reviewable in college. Why is that not reviewable in the NFL? Sometimes people shouldn't be down by contact. Sometimes they call that BS out of nowhere. It's a lousy system they have in place and they need to fix it. But you know what? They haven't fixed it, so we have to accept it for what it is and just deal with the backyard football brand of Bush League bullshit that we're getting.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. A Rich, Rakeem Richards, Izzy. Redzone Report, post-game show, the Buffalo Bills claim victorious over the Kansas City Chiefs by the score of 20-17. Izzy, what else we got?
We got the Dolphins play tomorrow?
Monday Night Football, Tennessee Titans. Yep.
Hey, go Titans. Go Titans. They probably going to lose. Dolphins probably going to destroy them. I see that happening at least. So, I'll be honest. I may hate the Dolphins, but I'm an honest man. You won't catch me lying. But if the Titans win, I got some other team fans to start poking at, putting my finger in their chest a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I'm not expecting that. I'm not expecting, the Titans to win. It would be nice. And I'm at the point of the season where I'm not even thinking about an AFC title. I'm just trying to get in the playoffs wherever we can get ourselves, wherever we see fit, whether that's the, divisional title in a 4th seed or a 3rd seed, or that's a wild card team as the 7th seed, last team to get in. We just got to get in. If we get in, we can make some noise if we get in, but we have to get in first.
Yeah. So Scott Banker asked this question: is the NFL officials a full-time job? It actually is a full-time job. Dean Blandino cleared that up when he was on an interview with Rich Eisen when they were talking about that Eagles-Bills game. Yeah, they have a full-time job, and they are evaluated based on their calls. Question is, do they have enough backup guys to really cycle in if those guys suck that bad? And yeah, the USFL guys and the XFL guys are doing their thing. Their system is different.
The thing about officiating is the accountability. Do officials have enough backing? Are they implementing enough dollars behind holding these officials accountable? Now, when these NFL players are making tackles unnecessary roughness, it gets reviewed, and upon further review, they get a letter in the mail, they get a ticket, they get a fine in the mail, right? Why can't we implement something like this with the officials? Why can't there be another set of another committee now breaking down the game that the officials had and break down, okay, what calls were missed, the obvious calls were missed, and they be held accountable? The NFL is not doing enough to implement enough resources to hold these refs accountable. And until they do so, we're going to have these type of issues where it gets to the point where it makes no sense to even talk about the refs anymore.
Yeah, no. So they actually supposedly do have a committee like that watches these refs, and it doesn't seem like it because they still suck. But it's the system. Like in those other leagues that we talk about, the USFL and XFL, they have a system where it's reviewed upstairs every play. Every single play is reviewed upstairs. So they have a guy at every game, and they should probably do that in the NFL. You could hire 32 dudes.
They probably need more guys.
Yeah.
A guy is not enough.
Well, no, they got one guy in every game who watches all those plays. And so the NFL probably should implement something similar to that. But yeah, I'm sorry, I had to block somebody because they're just saying some wild shit in the comments. So
no, you good, bro.
They had to go.
I like it. But yeah, man. Yeah, I'm ecstatic. Buffalo Bills, we got the victory. We got the victory on the road against a tough opponent. This is a team in the Kansas City Chiefs that is a Super Bowl contending team throughout in their own right. The Philadelphia Eagles is a team that we played tough as a Super Bowl contending team in their own right. So the issue is not if the Buffalo Bills can play with these teams. The Buffalo Bills can play with anybody. With the Super Bowl contending teams, the question is, can the Buffalo play protective football, not beat themselves, and play 60 minutes of consistent, sound, fundamental football? And can they make the necessary plays at the end and do enough not to blow the game for themselves? And that is the question with the Buffalo Bills. And that is where players have to step up. That is where coaches have to step up and call the necessary plays. And that's where everybody as a unit up and down the organization have to do their job in making sure the Buffalo Bills can be successful. And we're going to see if the Buffalo Bills can do that or can continue to do that next week against the Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. Just like they always say, the cliche that Josh always says, trying to go 1-0, trying to go 1-0, trying to go 1-0. We're trying to do that 4 times more in a row. And so that's just what it is. That's just what it is. You got to put one foot in front of the other, prepare, study your film, get into practice, get your reps, understand tendencies, and just carry on the way you're supposed to. Get these dubs, get to the playoffs, and contend for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree 100%, man.
Yes, sir. You got anything else, man?
Nah, man, I think we did an excellent job. I think we did an excellent job going on an hour today. The Buffalo Bills victory. We're gonna, enjoy the rest of the night. We all should enjoy the rest of the night. Probably watch some Sunday night football. The
Yeah,
conclusion between Dallas and Philly, and I'm gonna enjoy this victory, man. I'm gonna wake up in the morning feeling good to go to work. I got some fans in there that we go back and forth with wins and losses, and it's gonna be great to go to work on Monday morning. So great show tonight, bro. Great victory tonight for the Buffalo Bills, and one game, one play at a time. And we hope we can keep this train rolling.
absolutely. Go Bills. And I'm gonna give you some Tums for this heartburn. It's killing me right now.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right.
Go Bills.
Everybody go Bills. Have a blessed evening. Merry Christmas coming up. Get them presents wrapped. We out of here.